Happy midnight. I hope all is well. I hope you had a blessed week. Welcome to another week in review. If you want to watch the replay, you can on Instagram or subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's in my bio. And or you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at I am Shantizi. So here I am. I'm not going to be long because I know it's midnight. People got things to do. So according to the Johns Hopkins website, coronavirus.jhu.edu, we have 234,257,265 cases, confirmed cases of COVID throughout the United States of America. The global death toll is 4,791,475. U.S. confirmed cases, we have 43,617,770. And the U.S. death toll just reached 700. So it's 258. And the number of people vaccinated, fully vaccinated, as of yesterday, we have 917,333. So that's almost 1 million people vaccinated. So we have 56, that we see their doses yesterday. So 56 of the U.S. population is vaccinated and 184.6 million total that is vaccinated, which that's more than half of the population, but we still not at the 70% that the president want to be, us to be at as the 70% of the vaccination. And of course, my state is in the 60th percentile of vaccinations, even though as of this week, teachers had to be vaccinated within the state. The governor put out an executive order. People are trying to challenge that. And of course, in New York City, by last Monday, all New York City teachers had to be vaccinated. And everybody's just like, I don't want that. You are infringing upon my rights and blah, 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 blah. So here's the thing. When you work in any city agency, county agency, state agency, or federal agency, you're dealing with an influx of people, outside stakeholders, external folks like myself. I think you want the vaccine to at least protect yourself from a stronger strand of COVID, but to each his own. If you want to be stupid and lose your job and all of that. But I think it's important for people that work in city, county, state, and federal agencies to be vaccinated. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just my wishful thinking. I don't know, but I think you should be vaccinated. Now, in terms of anti-vaxxers, of course, the anti-vaxxers are, of course, the white MAGA people. And then from black people is black celebrities. That includes musicians. That includes rappers, socialites. Let's see. Basketball players. Also, just regular black folks. Some, my age and under. Who said, I don't know what's in that stuff, but for those that are asking what's in the vaccine, I just want to ask y'all a question. Do y'all know what's in your liquor? Do you know what's in your weed? Do you know what's in the ass shots that you receive? No, you don't. You don't know what's in that, but you guys get ass injections, drink whatever in your liquor, and smoke whatever in your weed. You don't know if it's laced or not, but y'all question what's in the vaccine when all the info is out there, the real info, the actual info. A doctor who will actually respond to your messages or to your comments on social media platforms like Instagram and Twitter. Y'all really asking what's in the free vaccine? Now, I know, yes, you should be hesitant about, what you're taking. But you guys are not hesitant when it comes to getting ass shots or liposuction. So I don't understand why y'all so concerned about the vaccine when it's safe and free. When other black folks know took it and we're fine. I'm fine. I'm all right. I'm vaccinated and I still wear my mask. I double mask at that. So I'm not understanding the stupidity. But if you want to listen to people like, let's see, Nicki Minaj, Tank, and all these other knuckleheads telling y'all not to wear your mask, you will F around and find out. And by the time you F around and find out, you might be somewhere laying 6 feet under or be cremated. And it's not being mean, it's just that's the situation. So if you want to prevent those things from happening or about to happen or near to happen, I think you want to get the vaccine and still wear your mask. That's all I'm saying. But on to the politics. So, the Democratic Party is in a disarray in terms of passing infrastructure and a $3.5 trillion reconciliation package to fund all the social programs that help the average American people. Because even though it's popular among Americans, I keep saying the buyback agenda, the Biden and Harris agenda, Build Back America. I keep forgetting what it is, but I keep messing it up. But it's popular amongst mostly the American people. That is 70% of voters that are made up of Democrats and independents that lean towards the left, which is Democrats. And you got 2 senators and some senators hiding behind them, don't want to pass the $3.5 trillion reconciliation package for whatever reason. I have no idea. But to Kristen Leah Sinema and Joseph Manchin III, y'all states are not even the highest in vaccination, don't have a good minimum wage package at all, don't really have the necessities at all, but y'all doing all of this performative shit for what? I have no idea. But I'm going to just say this to y'all. Those voters that you're appealing to, they do not vote for y'all. They will vote for your opponent. And this is more towards Kristen Leah Sinema, because you ran your platform as a progressive, and then when you get into the Senate, you're all of a sudden a disruptor. You're a conservative Democrat. Since when? I have no idea. Even though I don't like to put labels on people, but you're acting like a conservative Democrat. So I'm going to just say this to you, girl. If you want to remain in the Senate and have a Senate career, I suggest that you cut out this performative shit and actually talk to real life voters, not the Karens that you need. You need the indigenous folks. You need the Latinx community out in Arizona, and you need black folks that live in Arizona. Some of them white women, they're not going to vote for you. We already learned from the last election, the 55% now voted for, people call him the former guy, I call him the bum. They voted from the bum from Queens. They're not going to vote for you. I think they don't really like you. Not even Meghan McCain, as she confront all she wants to saying you doing for your district. No, you're not. They're not going to vote for you. So I'm going to need for you, Kristen Leah Sinema, cut this shit out. Get on board. or you will fuck around and find out in 2024. I don't have no words for Joseph Manchin III. He is full of shit. And I'll leave it as that. But another person that I have to get on. So, the congresswoman from the Bronx and parts of Queens, she's been getting a lot of media attention because of her influence. So I'm just going to play this one little tiny video from the influencer in Congress.
Yeah, that's right.
Isn't something better than nothing? And you know what we have to say? I stood up in front of the caucus and I said, there might be an easy thing for some of you all to say. Because when a bill passes that is underfunded, that only gives a crumb, you get that crumb.
Yep.
Because when you only give some and not all, then some people get nothing.
Yeah.
Some people get nothing.
Yeah.
Who gets nothing? We get nothing.
Yep, we get that.
Yeah.
So, standing up there in that Capitol, and I was like, I don't know if y'all know yet by now, but I'm from the Bronx. When you tell me, isn't something better than nothing? What I hear, what you're actually telling me, isn't something for you better?
Yep.
Isn't something for you better? And why don't you accept nothing so that I can get something?
Yeah.
That's what.
First of all, Alejandra Ocasio-Cortez. You were born in the Bronx, but you were not raised in the Bronx. I was friends with people that were raised in the Bronx. I grew up not too far from the Bronx. I grew up on 116th Street and 5th Avenue. The Bronx is only, a 10, 15-minute drive from where I live? I never saw you before. Never heard of you before. And yes, I agree. Standing your ground and holding the line is important. But when you don't pass anything and you've been in there for 2 years and some change, I suggest you shut the hell up on this one. Because the last time I checked, you have not really done anything for your district. You almost lost your race. People are like, well, she got 70% of the vote. That's not enough in New York City. That's actually pretty bad. That's bad performance in New York City. Because there are a lot of people in Congress. Grace Ming got a good chunk of votes. My congressman got like 90-something% of the vote. Hakeem Jeffries got like over 80-something% of the vote. Even Jamal Bowen got 80-something% of the vote, and he don't do shit neither. He another one. Who else? Richie Torres got 80-something% of the vote. So there was a good chunk of people in Congress that got a chunk of the vote in New York City. Jerry Nadler, got a good chunk of the vote. So I don't know what she's talking about. That's something better than nothing. Nobody's like saying, oh, pass a infrastructure bill right now. People are just saying, want you to freaking do your job and stop acting so privileged. Because you make $174,000 a year and you don't do anything. You don't do nothing. You sit there, earn a check, and don't help your constituents, both in the Bronx, the east side of the Bronx, where mostly a lot of white people live, and parts of Queens, which suffer from the last storm, which you have not introduced, not even a resolution for that. So to sum this up, Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, you need to do for your constituents. You need to pass a resolution or introduce a resolution even yet to help your constituents who suffer from the storm and then probably who lost their businesses during COVID. Tell them to apply for loans so they can get their business back or start a new business. Introduce bills that help your constituents and cut the performative shit out. You have not passed not one goddamn bill since you've been in there. You've been keeping the seat warm. And if you keep doing this, you will continue to lose support. You already lost support the last election. 8 points. You will continue to lose more if you don't do your job. And as for Bernard Sanders. Bernard Sanders, who has been in Congress for 30 years and made 30 years this past January, have not once did really anything meaningful until this new Congress. Out of his 30-year tenure, with over 400 bills he have drafted and sponsored, only 3 of them became law. But he's co-sponsor of 218 bills. Co-sponsor of 218 bills. And most of them are Republican bills. Some with John McCain. So his record, not very progressive. You know who record is very progressive? The president. His legislative record, very progressive. The vice president, same when she was in the Senate. So it's just like Bernie Sanders' record is not very progressive. So him getting notoriety now is like, what you were doing for the last 30 years, I have no idea. In the last 30 years, he was in his 40s, late 40s, early 50s. Don't do nothing now. You don't do anything. And our revolution, giving him credit for the $3.5 trillion reconciliation. No, that was the quote-unquote moderates that you criticize, like the Amy Klobuchars of the world. And even Chuck Schumer with his nonsense. Tweeting, the canceled student loan debt. Crap. It was not Bernie Sanders. And I will say this until kingdom come. And I don't care who gets mad, because I can give 2 fucks. Bernie Sanders have been in Congress for 30 years. He introduced over 400 bills, and out of those 400 and some odd bills, he only passed 3. 3 became law. And that includes renaming 2 post offices. It's either 3 or 7. It's not 10. So I'm going to say this. Bernard Sanders been in Congress for 30 years. Out of the 30 years, he only introduced over 400 bills. 3 of them became law. He kept the seat warm for 30 years, not doing much. This is the first time in his 30-year tenure he's actually doing something. And he's not even moving the needle that far. The same establishment that he and his progressive likes, criticizes, he's a part of that establishment. So therefore, Bernard Sanders is the establishment. Yes, I said that. I said all of that. But if Democrats want to win the 2022 midterm elections, they need to pass all of the president's agenda. And the president made it very clear. This is his agenda. It's not the moderates and it's not the progressives' agenda. It's his. His and his only. With the vice president, some of the vice president's influence. Not some of it, most of the vice president's influence. Because The money towards parents each month, that's her idea. It's been her idea since her days in the Senate. So therefore, this agenda is the president's and even the vice president's agenda for making sure parents have, people in America have, from children to parents to single people. It is not the progressives nor the moderates' agenda. So people need to cut the shit. And now we need for the mainstream media to stop saying Democrats in a disarray. We have policy fights. We're not in a disarray. The Republican Party is in a disarray because they still eat their own. Look at Liz Cheney. She in the woods by herself. But she still tends to vote with them. Stay in line to vote with them. But they eat her up. They still can't get out of the shadows of Donald Trump because Donald Trump has made the Republican Party of today. The Democratic Party, on the other hand, nobody is branding us. Well, we're not branding ourselves. The media and the Republican Party are branding the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is not branding themselves. We never said we was the party of this and the party of that, like the Republican Party. The Republican Party is the one that branded themselves as the morality folks, the Christianity folks, the globalism folks, the humanitarian folks, the conservative party. Yeah, the fiscal conservatives. Yeah, they branded themselves. Democrats did not put those brands on themselves. But we hold ourselves accountable and we're for democracy. Excuse me. We are a diverse coalition. That's right, Yvonne. We're a diverse coalition. We can have civil debates, civil disagreements, and respect each other and not name call each other like the Republican Party. And it didn't start with Donald Trump name calling Republicans. Ronald Reagan called, or was it George Bush called Ronald Reagan a name? And still he became his vice president. Because Ronald Reagan needed the moderate conservatives back in the 1980s. Well, the moderate Republicans in the 1980s. So, to the mainstream media, stop saying Democrats are in a disarray. We're not in a disarray. We had civil debates. Stop being gossip queens and actually report real news and cut the bullshit. Please and thank you. Now it's time to read, folks. So we have, the voodoo economics. Yep, that was George Bush. George H.W. Bush. So David Serrata and Brianna Gray, and I'm pretty sure Ryan Knight, they've been tweeting like crazy. Didn't pay attention to Ryan Knight, have no needs to. But these folks have so much to say. And said if Bernie was president, he would have been, let's pause that for a second. If Bernie Sanders was president, there wouldn't have been no Democrat majority in the House nor Senate. Shit, he wouldn't even be the president. It still would have been, the bum from Queens. And democracy would have really been imperiled. So this Bernie woulda shit can go out the fucking window. And as for Brianna Gray and David Serrata, you guys did not vote for the Democratic platform. That includes voting from the Democratic president and down. You guys didn't. You guys voted for Howie Hawkins. Dusty ass Howie Hawkins. And that includes Ryan Knight. You voted for Howie Hawkins too. Y'all did not vote for Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. Y'all should have nothing to say about today's current politics because you guys did not vote for the Democratic platform, from the president and down. You have so much to say about the Democratic Senate. Why y'all don't have this smoke for the Republican Party? Because most of y'all are secret libertarians. If y'all were really for us, y'all would have voted for this president. And I want David Serrata especially to stop trying to be a voice for Black people, the Latinx community, the indigenous folks, the AAPI folks. Stop being a voice for Black people and brown people in this country. You do not give two fucks about us. You call people in my family, people that in South Carolina, Black people that I know that voted for Joe Biden in the primaries, you call them low information. You and many other folks, even though you haven't said it directly, but you have said it indirectly, and you said it to me indirectly, and I got the motherfucking screenshots on your ass. Mr. David Serrata, and I may be saying your name wrong, but I can give two fucks because you're an evil ass motherfucker. Let me tell you something. You will never be for us. You will never be an ally. And I will never consider you an ally. I don't even care how many times you apologize, because you have showed your ass on social media, keyboard warrior, for so many years. If I would have known your ass then, I would have cursed your ass out a long time ago. You are not the voice for people of color. You're not the voice for Black people nor brown people in this country. So I'm going to need for you to take your dusty, mothball looking ass, get a job, put your resume out there. You write very well. There's magazines and newspapers that are looking for people. Jobs are opening back up again. The president's agenda, that's a part of the president's agenda, the jobs, is opening back up again. Maybe you need to get a job. But until then, I want you to shut the fuck up. And as for Ms. Gray, when are you going to realize that these white men that you invite on your podcast don't give a fuck about Black people? Why you keep centering yourself around these white men? What are you getting out of this? You're getting nothing out of this. But then again, you don't care about us. And he has showed that time and time and time again. I mean, for crying out loud, you disrespect the vice president so many times, more than you disrespect Donald Trump. And you don't even disrespect him because you probably secretly like his ass. How stupid. How pathetic. How low. But let me tell you something. These same white folks that you're centering yourself around, when you get in trouble one day, they're not going to be here for you. You're going to be just another mammy for them. I'm just saying. I'm so sick of this. I'm so sick of these quote unquote socialists, communists, whatever. I'm so sick of this shit. I don't even know why they got verified accounts. I don't understand. Because it's like they spew nonsense. And people still subscribe to their YouTube channels and their Patreons. It's like, you motherfuckers don't even need Patreon. That's how dumb y'all are. But who am I? And to the white moderates, it's for y'all that keep praising Elizabeth Cheney. Elizabeth Cheney voted against the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. She voted against the Biden and Harris American Rescue Plan. She voted against, I believe, the thing to avert the shutdown, or was it the Senate? She voted against a lot of stuff that the current president, wants. But white moderates are showing their solidarity to her and Adam Kinzinger. I mean, Y'all really want a traditional Republican to be on your side? At the end of the day, they're not going to be on your side. They're not going to have your back. So all this praise and worship to her, it's pathetic as fuck. You cut that shit out. And that includes some of those resistors. And I'm pretty sure some of y'all follow me on Twitter, and I'm going to say this. If y'all retweet that bitch, y'all might as well unfollow me right now, because I'm going to keep it real. Liz Cheney, she don't deserve no praise from me. And I keep saying this shit, and I will say this shit over and over and over and over again. She don't deserve no praise from me. She voted against a lot of stuff. And all of a sudden, she's sorry that she voted against gay marriage and was against it after your sister came out gay. You and your dad is so against it. Give me a break. Give me a break. Ugh. But the obsession, the white moderate obsession with Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger, please stop. And if you retweet them, don't just unfollow my ass. I'll gain more followers, because I know the Lord will bless me. Yeah, Jay. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And you're right, Yvonne. They're toxic as hell. And yes, Sky, they get no praise. Not from my black ass. And I already read the mainstream media. But I want to just say this real quick before I get off, because I'm making good timing. I tweeted the other day, I think yesterday, that I am African American. I prefer that. So here's the thing. It's going to make people mad, but I can care less. Yes, I am a woman of color, but I prefer the term African American. And the reason why, because my ancestors came from Africa. I don't know if it's West or East Africa, but they came from Africa. And I was raised to be a strong African American woman. Or black, but I prefer the term African American. And yes, I may be colored, but I am African American. So when you refer to me as a person of color, make sure you put African American, not person of color, because, you know, that is there's other folks of color, and people of color want to be recognized as I'm African American, I'm Afro Latino, or I am Latina or Latino, I am Asian American, or I am indigenous. Do not refer to me as person of color, because I am a woman and I'm African American and I'm proud of it. So, yep, that is all I have for you tonight. I'll catch you next Friday. And you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. I will put this up on my YouTube. And just look out for any small little clips on Twitter. So I'll have those on there. Sometimes I don't put it on there because I'll be too tired. And catch me on my Twitter Spaces every Wednesday around 8, 9 o'clock, where, you know, we have our Twitter discussions and whatnot. So until then, you guys have a good night. Take care.